on your screens again. This is Good Afternoon, Ghana. From our studios here at Ridge in Accra, the Queer Bohima studio. We are live loud on DSTV channel 277, on Facebook, on YouTube, on X, on Instagram, also on TikTok. Just go on there, look for us, Metro TV Ghana or Metro TV GH. Like, subscribe, comment, share, and let's grow together there across all our platforms. My colleague Dominic Ansapra is on standby. I almost said Dominic Nana Ansapra. Would I be wrong to say that, Dominic? How was your Valentine's Day over the weekend? I mean, just a very harmless question.
It has been good. It has been good. We thank
What
God.
did you do?
Well, church service and also preaching love. So.
Anyways, what is the latest stories from around the country?
Right, thank you very much. This is Good Afternoon Ghana News Update with me, Dominic Nana Kwame Ansapra. Headlines is up next. And now Ghana loses over 4.5 billion annually to traffic congestion, according to new study on urban mobility. And now President of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, departs from Addis Ababa at the close of the 39th Ordinary Session of the Assemblies of Heads of State and Government of the African Union. And now later on Good Afternoon Ghana, we will be looking at the decision of Interpol to delete the red notice against Ken Ofori-Atta and what it means for the corruption charges against him. This and many other more coming your way in 30 minutes. Do stay, we'll be right back. And I will take the news in details. President John Dramani Mahama has departed Addis Ababa at the close of the 39th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government of the African Union. During his stay, President Mahama held bilateral meetings and participated in high-level continental discussions on integration, development, financing, and regional stability. However, the defining moment of his engagement was the announcement of significant progress on Ghana's proposed United Nations resolution on slavery and reparation. Addressing the media in his capacity as AU champion for reparations, the president disclosed that the AU Assembly adopted by consensus a decision endorsing Ghana's initiative to declare the trafficking in enslaved Africans and racialized chattel enslavement a gravest crime against humanity, given the proposal a unified continental mandate. He confirmed that Ghana will formally table the resolution at the UN General Assembly on March 25, 2026, the International Day of Remembrance of the Victims of Slavery and the Transatlantic Slave Trade. Beginning February 20th, Ghana will intensify diplomatic engagement in New York, in CARICOM, the Non-Aligned Movement, the Group of 77 in China, and the European Union to build broad international support. President Mahama described the move as a historic step toward truth, recognition, and reparatory justice, stressing that acknowledgement of the past is essential to advancing global equality and reconciliation. And now moving on to the New Patriotic Party, the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has called on party members to forgive one another for grievances due to the recent campaign season, underscoring the importance of unity for the future of the party. Addressing party members at a national Thanksgiving service in the University of Professional Studies, Accra, on Sunday, 15, 2026, Dr. Bawumia appealed to party members to neglect any offense caused by heated campaign rivalry.
We are encouraged by the knowledge that going forward, we can continue to count on their constant prayers. What is left of healing and uniting will come by acknowledging where each went too far, telling ourselves the truth, and still choosing to walk together. Healing will not come from silence. It will come from speaking up on what binds us together and working towards it. As a family, we have more that binds us together than what we differ on. What we have to do is to deepen our concentration on what we have in common and put less emphasis on what we differ on. The road ahead will demand discipline, sacrifice, and hard work. Victory in 2028 will not be gifted to us. It must be earned, constituency by constituency, household by household, with humility and purpose. In the coming weeks and months, we shall embark on a thank you tour to properly acknowledge the hard work and comportment that have been displayed by party members nationwide through this period. We are also getting to work quickly to reorganize the party's policy structures, to fine-tune and market our alternative policy proposals to the good people of Ghana in the shortest possible time.
And now turning to the 2028 elections, Dr. Bawumia delivered a firm message about a tax ahead, warning against complacency.
The reorganization of our party structures will continue in earnest to give the stronger and well-motivated machinery required for election 2028. Let us put behind personal grudges, internal suspicions, and factional lines. Let us rebuild trust among ourselves. Let us return to the values that built this party: service, competence, and respect for institutions, and belief in the Ghanaian people. This is the beginning of our journey to win back the trust and love of the Ghanaian people. Our nation requires the best efforts that each of us can put up. It requires that we all give the best of our ideas, our sweat, and our sacrifice to build the nation our forebears envisioned. In my personal experience, I have learned that if you do not focus on how people opposed to you have offended you, you will be able to build. Ghana is bigger than any political party. Our democracy must never be reduced to vengeance. There is work to be done, serious work. The kind of work that requires patience, listening, learning, and showing up even when the applause is absent. The kind of work that places the country before comfort and duty before ego. I pledge my mind. May God heal our party. May God heal our nation. And may God grant us the wisdom and strength to serve Ghana with integrity, courage, and love.
And now moving away from that, some cocoa farmers have been speaking on a recent policy announced by government to transform the cocoa sector. The farmers raised concerns over a reduction in the producer price of cocoa for the 2026-2025 season. According to them, the decision will negatively affect their livelihoods and family welfare.
Mampani mama media nyesre na mesre wo na me ka kire wo se akuafo wa ha no wo ya me yaware agu wo ya me kwom so ayede ban akuyan wo ya ma wo mo afa no wo bia kokko no so agya kokko dua asekyira ne sɛ sikadada na wɔ hɔ no mo no wo ka sɛ wobɛtum manabro so santi na manfo to ma wo akuafo ɔmanimfo ebegyina sɛ wo bu akuafo a ɛto aba ɛdodo a na yɛkwani mu pa adada nti wo si dwa man so sika ɛgye no akufo adofa gu ni botom wɔ ne mpanimfo wo ba ya de ɔdɔma ma wantimi amfa amayen
NDC for adadafo John Mama and then Crawford. Omi adadafo me your hand am down make say. My koko for me confia duenu. Me pese me ma John Mama and Crawford ntia say. E kwan am de akuafo faso yes akwan na so am de faso. De na do abeya man no. So omo ntimi entoa so a omo man si ho.
Medi fie de osonkono anura me kwa afuo mu ebo mi no nsia fie banku ball ba kokora me ntimi me gina we kom de me empanimfo ase se wanya bibia mo ase a yenya amo no kro no ade a mahama aye no eya minti bi mpani nsem da me de nka matwa wo nanso me mpesa me nana no baba abaye enti me yasra no me nsada me nsayem wonya bibi baye
Mr. Wu, Shababre, where me gina, my bato jam, and my mother in you. A crea metiasi, baby, I'm free, I was sent so, and son many be annum, many be name a mad dinner. Papa, so shabby, I may cause send so no, and Cababre, I may or mobile. Show you the 2 year medamu, this and no, and I could accuracy in you. This is solar and my toddy at 2 a.m. Nimanya Cania, and Emma, and Emana no modiada. Would the Hana Joa Obasha, no war. As in my peer, I have found a barber or mefa. Yet, Miss Ranka Crana, I met me the aton chancing, met me the atosamenti, Namedi, I baby, I'm a tieni, and I was away so, Barbara, I mean, day, would you would, now Fadia or Hodadano, Famaye.
You have a year, Duma. Yeah, calculation ground cost input. The cost of maintaining 1 acre of cocoa farm was a cost rule, a pager in excess of about 2,000 cedis. So, and yet, what's your tium, Sikana, Omunia, every cocoa acre bakumono? A honor problem no, if riba. A byway at the Nadriaco gold sodo. Or the BBA quaco good. Until within the year, would take your phone be now hessing in America is as if government is prioritizing gold over cocoa to the extent that even the threats about destroying cocoa no for gold no cry said here buying.
And now the National Communications Authority has directed mobile network operators to expand their services beyond district capitals to cover all towns within every metropolitan, municipal and district assembly nationwide. This is part of a tougher new quality of service framework that takes effect immediately.
The National Commissions Authority said the decision forms part of ongoing efforts to ensure equitable access to telecommunication services across the country. Under the directive, operators will be required to broaden their infrastructure footprint to underserved and previously unconnected communities within the various MMDAs. The revised framework updates parameters that have been in place since 2004 and reflects current technological advancements, consumer usage patterns, and national policy objectives. The NCA emphasized that expanding coverage is critical to promoting digital inclusion, enhancing communication, and supporting socio-economic development at the local level. By extending services to all towns within each assembly, the authority aims to bridge connectivity gaps and improve service availability nationwide. Mobile network operators are expected to comply with the new requirement as part of the regulator's strengthened oversight of service delivery standards in the sector. The NCA said it is mandated to protect consumer interest and ensure the delivery of reliable, efficient, and high-quality telecommunication services, noting that the amendment forms part of ongoing regulatory interventions to improve service delivery and strengthen compliance by mobile network operators.
And now to our borders, the Ministry of Interior and National Security has confirmed that a truck carrying Ghanaian tomato traders have been caught in a terrorist attack in Titao, Burkina Faso. In a statement issued on Sunday, February 15th, the Minister for the Interior, Muntaka Mohamed Mubarak, described the information received from Burkina Faso as disturbing.
According to the statement, the truck carrying the traders was caught up in the attack, raising serious concerns about the safety of passengers on board. The Minister for Interior, Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak, indicated that the attack targeted a military camp in Titao, where installations were damaged during the assault, according to local reports. He added Ghana's embassy in Burkina Faso has begun engaging local authorities to gather more information and confirm the identities of any Ghanaians affected. The embassy is expected to visit the attack sites to obtain further details as investigations continue. Authorities say the public will be updated as soon as more verified information becomes available. Titao in northern Burkina Faso has faced repeated armed attacks in recent years and has been under siege by Islamist militants since 2019. The incident comes at a time of heightened insecurity across parts of the Sahel region, where terrorist attacks have become increasingly frequent in recent years.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Association of Banks, John Ewa, has urged Ghanaians to be cautious of their savings as the financial landscape evolves. Speaking at a corporate governance series program in Accra, he emphasized the importance of prioritizing financial security to ensure the long-term survival of banks.
The banks are expected by law or by the directive to disclose in their annual reports. So if you are a user of financial statement, then by user of financial statement, every key holder, a stakeholder, including, in fact, as we have known today, the number one stakeholder of a bank is the depositor. So if you are a depositor, take keen interest in what goes on in your bank. And how you take that keen interest is the annual reports are public documents. Just go through, if not anywhere at all, the corporate governance disclosure area. Understand how decisions in the bank where you keep your money, how decisions are being taken, how the boards are becoming accountable to the various stakeholders within the organization, and how you also function within the scheme of things. And you find that a whole lot of the financial strength or viability that you are looking for, you find in the annual report. You don't have to be a specialist financial analyst, and where you do not understand, you also can reach out to your bank, you can reach out to an expert, you can reach out to a colleague who has a better understanding of financial data, so you equip yourself. And when next time you are going to put your money somewhere, not just in a bank, any kind of investment vehicle, you know that you have the wherewithal to understand exactly where you are putting your money to for its safety, security, and long-term survival.
And now the traffic congestion in a city is one of the Ghanaian workers' worst nightmares. Productive hours are spent, fatigue sets in, and are ultimately leading to burnout. A new study has found that millions of cities are lost annually. What solutions are available? My colleague Eugenia Akofa Kumi explores the story.
Long winding queues have already formed at the bus terminal, which connects residents to other parts of the country. I joined the queue heading towards Nima. Empty buses arrive intermittently, yet the queues keep growing by the second. Finally, I managed to secure a spot after almost an hour and a half.
It's 6 a.m. and I'm currently at Kaswa. This is actually where I stay. Usually I'll leave home at 4:30 a.m., join the staff bus and get to the office about 7:30 a.m. But today I've decided to do something different, to join the public transport, what we know as trotro, to experience at first hand what the ordinary Ghanaian worker goes through on a daily basis.
En route, one thing becomes clear. Every side of the road is choked. Even motorbikes struggle to maneuver through the congestion. Once the vehicle moved, some passengers begin to doze off, trying to catch a bit of rest before the day gets busier. A new study has identified traffic congestion as one of the worst nightmares of the Ghanaian worker. The findings showed that time lost in traffic accounted for approximately 3.2 billion cedis annually, while fuel waste contributed 343 million cedis, with stress and fatigue estimated at 815 million cedis. The Malam Kaswa route has been identified as one of the traffic hotspots. I arrived at my first stop at 9:08 a.m.
Being stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic has become the new normal for the Ghanaian worker. With a rapidly growing population and little expansion of existing infrastructure, the daily hustle continues. So, the next time you're stuck in traffic, make sure to grab your laptop and a bottle of water.
By 9:30 a.m., I finally arrive at the office. 3 hours and 30 minutes of potentially productive time spent in traffic. With a study proposing a number of interventions, including widening roads, upgrading feeder roads, and deploying smart traffic lights, the government's role in easing the daily burden of workers and commuters remains critical and requires urgent attention. Eugenia Akofakumi, Metro News.
And now staying on this, motorists and commuters plying the 67-kilometer Gunankwanta to Taka Road should expect massive traffic congestion in the coming weeks as the contractor Gabriel Kotorongo Consortium has announced 6 months of repair and rehabilitation work on that stretch. They are therefore encouraging road users on that stretch to reduce their speed in order to give the working team enough time to address most of the issues.
Just months after its commissioning in late 2024, the new 67-kilometer Agonankwanta to Taka Road is deteriorating, sparking public outcry and raising serious questions about its durability and quality of materials used. In response to the backlash, the contractor has attributed the rapid decay to excessive overloading by heavy-duty trucks, specifically those carrying manganese and bauxite, rather than faulty construction. Speaking at an Axle Control Forum in Takwa, the company's CEO, Theodore Ademazoya, outlined a plan to address the crisis. He announced that within the next month, the consortium will collaborate with the MTTD and other stakeholders to introduce traffic management measures.
We will have to reduce in order to give the working team enough time to manage most of the issues. That first phase of construction, which is the repair of the current pavement, will take about 6 months.
He's also appealing to the Minister for Roads and Highways to consider the dualization of 67-kilometer Agonankwanta to Taka Road to ease traffic congestion.
Our initial conversations on this corridor from 2019 was to dualize it from Agona Junction into Takwa Town. Unfortunately, resources did not allow us to do so. The government has now from Accra straight into Takrady, off to Agona Junction at the moment. Dual carriage, that is, sections are under construction. We hope that in the consideration of the Ministry of Roads and Highways and the Ghana Highway Authority, the density of traffic within Takwa, the contribution of the municipality to economic development within the corridor will play a factor in seeing if there is consideration to dualize the current section.
The Deputy Minister for Roads and Highways and the Member of Parliament for Tamale North, Al-Hassan Shaibu Suini, said the technical assessment of the road indicates that it is subject to more than 3 times the loading it was designed to carry, resulting in rapid structural failure, premature cracking, and deformation of the pavement.
It is not common practice for a contractor to undertake the rehabilitation of a failed road at their own cost, purely out of commitment to national interest and a long-term partnership. This decision reflects a profound sense of patriotism, professionalism, and corporate responsibility. It demonstrates confidence in Ghana's road sector and respect for the people who depend daily on this corridor. On behalf of the Ministry of Roads and Highways, the Government of Ghana, I wish to express our sincere appreciation. This gesture sets a commendable example of how the private sector can complement government efforts in safeguarding public infrastructure.
Western Regional Minister Joseph Nelson questioned why the tracks continue to overload despite the presence of axle load weighing bridges on the stretch. He thanked the contractor for stopping in to address the challenge and stated that going forward, people should be held accountable.
The road is going to be redone so that it stays in good shape. So we've had a Grand Bantaway Bridge with staff there, and still we have this overloading happening. And I think that going forward, people should be held accountable for things that happen in this country that are not right. So we have staff there, the state pays them, and yet we have situations where trucks are overloaded. So they get their share of the responsibility, and then they have to account.
Away from that, fuel prices are set to go up starting February 16th as the continued depreciation of the Ghana cedi pushes up the cost of petroleum products on the local markets. The expected increment, driven largely by exchange rate pressures and rising import cost, is likely to add to transportation fares and the overall cost of living, raising fresh concerns among consumers and businesses alike.
Fuel prices are projected to go up from February 16, according to the latest Outlook report by the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies. This will be the second expected increase in recent weeks, largely driven by the continued depreciation of the Ghana cedi and rising global crude oil prices. On the international market, crude oil prices have surged by more than 5%, trading close to $70 per barrel, while finished petroleum products, including petrol, gas oil, and LPG, have also recorded notable increases. COMAC projects petrol prices to rise by nearly 2% to about 11 cedis 97 pesos per litre. Diesel is expected to increase by 2.73% to around 13 cedis 9 pesos, while LPG could go up by more than 3%. However, the Chamber notes that oversupply in the local market and strong competition among oil marketing companies may help cushion the full impact of the increases. Meanwhile, the National Petroleum Authority has reminded all industry players to comply with the approved price floors under the Petroleum Product Pricing Guidelines. Motorists and consumers will be monitoring developments closely as the new pricing window takes effect.
What is where we draw the curtains on the news update on Good Afternoon Ghana with me, Dominic, Nana, Kwame and Sapra. We're crossing over to Bright, Nana Kwesi Amini for the rest of the show after this break.
And yes, Dominic, thank you so much for that stories you just gave us. I'm told that the leader of the minority in Parliament, Osahene Afenyomarkin, right, is currently speaking on some issues concerning cocoa and the new pricing that has been stated by the finance minister together with the CEO of the Ghana Cocoa Board, Dr. Ransford Abbey. I mean, I know that you are in Parliament, and do you know what he's talking about? I mean, let me just put you on the spot. Forgive me.
Well, so it should be on the cocoa sector. We should know that throughout the week there has been debates and deliberations or conversations on the cocoa sector. And even, I think, with the Thanksgiving service by the New Patriotic Party yesterday, the leader, the minority leader, Afenyomarkin, reiterated that this week in the chamber, it's going to be heated up with that very story about the cocoa farmers and its matters. So I'm expecting that is what he's addressing currently.
One of our colleagues called this week neck pressing week.
Right.
Because according to the minority leader, there's going to be a lot of neck pressing in Parliament. Pressure upon pressure for the majority. But anyways, thank you so much for that big there. And that is Dominic and Sampra with the latest stories from around the country. Don't you go nowhere. This is Good Afternoon Ghana. We are live on DSTV channel 277 and across all social media platforms. When we return, our conversations will begin. Stay with us.
afternoon, Mr. Ampedu.
Good afternoon, Mr. Asare.
How is business doing?
My business is collapsing.
Why is your business collapsing?
I sold my products and services to my clients on credit, and my debtors are not paying their debts.
Have you heard of Rosic Consult Limited, a debt recovery company operating in all the 16 regions of Ghana?
Not at all.
Mr. Ampedu, all you need to do is to contact them on their customer service line. I recommend Rosic Consult Limited, a debt recovery company to financial institutions, businessmen and businesswomen, other companies, and also individuals. Rosic Consult has 98.4% debt recovery rate. We have professional debt recovery managers. You are assured of swift debt recovery. No recovery, no commission. For Rosic Consult Limited, no more write-offs. And we pre-finance the recovery ourselves.
Zoomlion Private Services Limited, your waste management expert. One of the most innovative aspects of our business is our commitment to adopting cutting-edge technologies and sustainable practices in the waste management industry. We have invested in modern waste collection trucks, digital payment systems. We have also implemented efficient waste segregation systems and also developed strategic partnerships with our various stakeholders in the waste management value chain. I can talk about our innovative approach that enables us to reduce waste disposal costs, also minimize our environmental impact, and provide our clients with seamless customer service experience. We are the waste management experts.
Changing, so should you. If you're dreaming, don't be afraid. And in the valleys, keep your head up high. Dare to dream with Puma drinks. Puma, yeah. Believe it, you can achieve. Puma, oh yeah. Clap your hands for the whole new vibe. Make we set the bliss. Oh yeah, come alive. Let me hear you. Puma drinks, a whole new vibe. Another quality product from Casa Precon.
This advert is FDA approved.
Oh yeah, Ghana is opening a new chapter in green growth and investments. Tree Crops Development Authority, TCDA, presents the first Ghana Tree Crops Investment Summit and the first Tree Crops Industry Awards 2026. The four-day event runs from the 17th of February to the 20th of February 2026 at the Accra International Conference Center. Morning sessions start at 8 a.m. and afternoon sessions start at 1 p.m. daily. Theme: Sustainable Growth through Tree Crops Investment, Resetting and Building Ghana's Green Economy. The summit brings investors, policymakers, agribusiness leaders, entrepreneurs from cashew, coconut, oil palm, rubber, mango to share from all over the world to connect. Climaxing the summit will be a special gala night and first Tree Crops Award ceremony. For exhibition, sponsorship and registration, contact us on 0303 981 790. Visit our website at tcda.gov.gh or connect with us via our social media platforms at TCDA Ghana. Registration is required to invest in Ghana. Grow tree crops. The future is green. Be part of it. Seacoms beyond cocoa. Our Seacoms, our future. Come one, come all.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come.
It's on SuperSport all season long. Pay your subscription today. Dial *759#. Available on DSTV.
Thank you for staying with us here on Good Afternoon, Ghana. Welcome back. Let's begin our conversation this afternoon. And the Ministry of the Interior and National Security has confirmed that a truck carrying Ghanaian tomato traders has been caught in a terrorist attack in Titao, Burkina Faso. In a statement issued on Sunday, February 15, 2026, the Minister for the Interior, Muntaka Mohamed Mubarak, described the information received from Burkina Faso as disturbing. Take a look at this.
The statement, the truck carrying the traders was caught up in the attack, raising serious concerns about the safety of passengers on board. The Minister for Interior, Muntaka Mohamed Mubarak, indicated that the attack targeted a military camp in Titao, where installations were damaged during the assault, according to local reports. He added Ghana's embassy in Burkina Faso has begun engaging local authorities to gather more information and confirm the identities of any Ghanaians affected. The embassy is expected to visit the attack sites to obtain further details as investigations continue. Authorities say the public will be updated as soon as more verified information becomes available. Titao in northern Burkina Faso has faced repeated armed attacks in recent years and has been under siege by Islamist militants since 2019. The incident comes at a time of heightened insecurity across parts of the Sahel region, where terrorist attacks have become increasingly frequent in recent years.
And there you have it, a summary of what has actually happened as we speak. But if you go on the website of BBC News Pidgin, it says 7 Ghanaians die after jihadists attack tomato traders for Burkina Faso and others injured. This just was posted at exactly 12:34 West African time today, 16th of February 2026. On the BBC Pidgin page, their website, and the headline says 7 Ghanaians die after jihadists attack tomato traders for Burkina Faso. So I believe this should be the latest update. Wow, this is disturbing because it just came in. Anyways, let's go on the lines of the conversation. Mutaru Muni Mukhtar, Executive Director for West Africa Center for Counter Extremism, joins me for a conversation. Thank you so much for joining me. Quite a sad and disturbing situation we have on our hands today.
Hello.
Hello, Mutara, can you hear me?
And good afternoon to you on this US. Yes, I can hear you clearly. I hope you can hear me now.
I can, but we are saddened with this tragic of a news. Because I just went on the website of the BBC. That was posted just about 10 minutes ago. That reads 7 Ghanaians die following jihadist attack of a tomato truck in Burkina Faso and others injured. And it says 7 Ghanaians are reported to have lost their lives. This was just posted about 10 minutes ago on the website of the BBC. It's worrying. Quite scary. What's happening?
Of course, this is a very serious and worrying situation for everyone who has been following what has been happening within the sub-region, particularly in Burkina Faso our very, very close neighbor. And of course, whilst it comes as a shock to many people, those of us who work in the security space may not necessarily see that as shocking. If you look at the reality, the fact that nearly 7 years, the country, Burkina Faso, has been under this sustained, insurgency, and the fact that there is very strong interaction between Ghana and Burkina Faso, it is only a matter of time that we would begin to get involved in these situations as victims of the onslaught of violent extremism in Burkina Faso. In fact, this is not the first time Ghanaians have been involved in situations where they've come under attacks. We've had a lot of narrations of how Ghanaians have been, been involved in operations, but in nearly all these situations, Ghanaians have been spared, the attacks. And of course, this is a very different reality. And we're beginning to look at the factors or the circumstances under which this attack happened. Today we're seeing there's a lot of coordination at the moment between the leadership of both countries in trying to, look at the circumstances leading to it. And of course, identifying the Ghanaian victims in this instance. At the moment, it is the responsibility of the Burkinabe authorities to furnish the Ghanaian authorities details of what must have happened, especially as it relates to Ghanaian victims.
Mutau, what should we be doing as a country? What should our security apparatus as a noun be doing?
We've had long conversations about, the threat and how we should be handling the threat. Violent extremism or terrorism is a transnational security threat, and that it required collective regional approach to dealing with it. If you notice, if you look at the period beginning from 2011, up to this point, everything shows that this is a threat that must be tackled from a regional perspective through interagency collaboration, international coordination and information sharing, intelligence sharing amongst actors within the sub-region to ensure immediacy of action based on intelligence report, to ensure that we are collaborating on a real-time basis to deal with the factors that could lead to eventualities such as this. But my interest is in the fact that in spite of the increased insurgency in Burkina Faso, we continue to have Ghanaian traders who ply these routes in ways that appear that it was not based on a kind of reconnaissance or assessment of their own safety in these areas. If you look at Titao, for instance, where this attack happened, this is a very known area that has been under insurgency for quite some time. In the last 6-7 years, we've seen significant levels of, attacks around the area, including the Djibu department and other areas, the Lorum province has, experienced sustained Jenim attacks. And so to have our traders ply that route, it appears that it was without any kind of security assessment of their own security in the area, their own safety in the area. And I think that we need to recalibrate what kind of measures, we take in terms of security between these two countries when it comes to trade, our traders plying their routes.
But I mean, if I should also ask you about Ghana's level of security and our capability, to either prevent or to retaliate, what will you say?
The question is not within the context of retaliation or otherwise.
Right.
The question has to be, how do we sustain our security measures in terms of collaboration and cooperation?
Sorry to cut you, but then I asked that because during your previous statement, you kept using the word threats, but I believe it has now moved from just threats, to happenings. Because if, a number of 7 Ghanaians have been involved in this and losing their lives, that's beyond threats.
Yes, you're right. And that requires that we escalate our commitment to dealing with this, with violent extremism across the borders with our neighbors. And that involves engaging along the lines of interagency collaboration and intelligence sharing, international collaboration and intelligence sharing to ensure that we're dealing with it collectively. This action that has taken place, in many people's perspectives, what we're seeing may have been a kind of, random or accidental targeting of Ghanaians, because we have seen traditionally those instances where Ghanaians have been spared just by merely looking at their identity cards, and once you are known to be Ghanaian, you are spared of these attacks. And so it's a traditionally known practice of Jenim in particular. And so for this to have occurred involving Ghanaian casualties may have been an accidental situation or some kind of random attack that involved Ghanaians. But if it is the case that we have been deliberately targeted, and that would change the entire configuration in terms of what it means to dealing with the threat from the side of the Ghanaian government. And that remains to be seen, and we'll be following closely to see details emerge in terms of the circumstances and surrounding the attacks.
Let's now talk about the impact on regional security with West Africa in focus. What impact is this going to have on us?
Well, security generally is very expensive. Terrorism, it's been more expensive and deadly. At the moment, we're seeing situations, what we're seeing, impact on investment drive. Investors are looking to invest in environments that are secure, and so the incident or even the mere projection of terrorism in any space has significant impact on investment drive. It has impact in terms of insurance. Insurance premiums would go high because an incident has happened within a particular territory or market. It would impact on cost of living because goods and services. Cost of goods and services will be affected because insurance premiums go around. That cost is passed on to the citizens. So terrorism is very, very expensive. Beyond foreign direct investment, it has huge implications for national security because it would lead to escalation of commitment to security investment, investing in technology, investment in equipment, and ways to ensure that it does not occur, or that in the event of occurrence, there would be adequate response measures. And so it's a very costly endeavor or situation to occur.
In a situation like this, I don't think we can have a conversation and forget about ECOWAS and what it should be doing in the growing number of security threats in the Sahel region. I mean, what should they be doing as of now? Because it looks like we keep going back to them to help us find a solution, and it keeps happening over and over and over and over again. What should we be doing? Probably we may want to say that enough of the talk and now more action.
ECOWAS, we cannot have conversations on regional security without talking about ECOWAS and its capacity to deal with these security challenges. Of course, ECOWAS has had very documented successes in terms of regional integration along trade lines, along movements of people and goods and services within the sub-region. And it's significant in terms of its record in that regard. But when it comes to the issue of security, there have been, limited situations of success, especially within the context of violent extremism. This is a kind of threat. It's a typology of crime and security that appear very, daunting for regional and even continental actors. And so ECOWAS, is in a situation that requires new ideas and new approaches to dealing with it. This is not, an easy challenge to deal with, and it's a reason we have been challenged for more than, a decade and a half in terms of violent extremism and terrorism within the sub-region. I think that there's a need to summon a new spirit to dealing with the threat of violent extremism and terrorism. by looking at what we call the underpinnings of violent extremism and radicalization. What factors lead individuals to engage in terrorism and violent extremism? And that inevitably leads us to focus on governance, good governance and the rule of law, of what I call the entitlements of citizenship that allow young people especially to live out their dreams in terms of job opportunities, in terms of careers, and in terms of just living a life that they envision for themselves. Until we build that infrastructure, we allow young people and the general citizenry to live out, what I call the entitlements of citizenship. We will continue to have these vulnerabilities that lead people to engage in terrorism within the sub-region.
Let's now talk about preventive measures for the future. What can we do as a country?
Well, regional actors have been doing quite a lot in terms of putting in place measures to address this along the lines of governance, along the lines of legislations and measures, strategies that can help prevent and respond to these challenges. In the context of the Ghanaian government, there is a national framework for preventing and countering violent extremism and terrorism put together about 6 years ago. Framework allows all possible actors within the system a role in terms of dealing with the threat. That allows state and non-state actors to play a role in prevention especially. Ghana is still lucky to be in a position where we can focus more on prevention and dealing with factors that can lead people to become radicalized or vulnerable to recruitment. And that has been a very important step in dealing with the threat from here. And as you would notice, you've seen a lot of programs that have been rolled out by the government. And popularly, you have the if you see something, say something. It's intended at deepening consciousness and education and awareness around what factors could be in terms of radicalization, in terms of early warning signs, to ensure that we are not overtaken by any surprise. That is key. Another big element has to do with regional cooperation and international intelligence sharing. The Accra Initiative was intended to ensure that we collaborate along the lines of intelligence sharing and coordination. And whilst the Accra Initiative appears to be in hibernation, there are renewed efforts to recalibrate an approach that ensures that we are cooperating along the lines of intelligence sharing and coordination to prevent a spillover onto coastal states. And that is something we need to escalate our commitment to. And I think the new government of Ghana appears more robust in terms of the focus on that. And we're looking forward to seeing, that kind of initiative that brings on board all regional actors to prevent a spillover, as well as countering the threat in a more visible and effective manner.
For some time now, I mean, we've been trying to, we're actually praying that we don't end up seeing all of these attacks, coming to the country. From this happening, should we be worried?
Well, it's not an easy thing to say that people should not worry. It is a threat, and it's a situation in action. Over the last, 9-10 years, we do not have, we've been able to put together a kind of mechanism that shows that the threat is going away. We're seeing the threat expand in ways that appear to overwhelm us within the region. And so there's a need for escalated commitment for all actors in dealing with the threat. And that is why nations like Ghana and others along the coast that are yet to be impacted the same way as the Sahelian states need to increase their commitment to address the grievances and governance deficits and factors that lead individuals to engage in terrorism. And that is a more sustainable way to deal with terrorism. We cannot succeed against terrorism by focusing on terrorists. We need to go beyond focusing on terrorists to focus on the factors that lead individuals to engage in terrorism or to be recruited into terrorist groups. That inevitably leads us to focus on youth unemployment. Sustained and prolonged youth unemployment lead to desperate actions and actions that undermine state resilience and state security. we need to be addressing factors that relate to governance, infrastructure, and issues that can serve as vulnerabilities for recruitment. These things are big things that we haven't focused on adequately enough in dealing with the threat, but we need to be doing that now.
Should we place an order that restricts women or tomato traders from going into Burkina as we speak, at least for the time being, from bringing tomato from the area into Ghana, to at least calm heads and find a solution, a preventive or security solution to this before they are allowed to go back into the country? Should we do that?
It's interesting that you say that, and it's because security measures very often are a function of the threat perception. In this case, the perception is that the trade routes used by these tomato sellers or traders are the reason the attacks have happened. And whilst that may be very immediate factors, they go beyond that. And so, yes, immediately, we may recommend suspending movement along these routes to ensure we do not have that repeated. But way beyond that, we need to ensure that we are addressing it in a more sustainable way. Tomato production in Ghana, what is the state of tomato production in Ghana to ensure we are reliant on domestic sources of supply? Those things are key. But beyond that, we need to engage in ways that shows or ensures that we are not exposed to the attacks from Burkina Faso. And it goes beyond focusing on tomato traders. It goes beyond that to include interagency collaboration and information sharing and a security assessment prior to movement or apply these routes that they've been using for so long. We need to sustainably focus on the factors like I mentioned earlier, the foundations of this, the economic factors, the social and governance factors that ensures that we do not breed a ground on environment for terrorism.
Mutaru, kindly hold on for me. Let me speak to your colleague, security, fraud and security consultant, Richard Kumado, who is joining us on the phone lines. Good afternoon to you and welcome to Good Afternoon Ghana. Richard Kumado, good afternoon to you. Welcome to Good Afternoon Ghana.
Thank you. I can hear you.
Great. This afternoon, it's not the usual conversation. Sad news coming in where 7 Ghanaians, according to what is being reported by the BBC, have been killed. And if you should listen to how they were murdered, quite disturbing. Bent together with the vehicle where they were in. There was a woman separated from the men, and the men killed, some women injured and all that. I mean, how worried are you as a security consultant?
Is it worried? I think I'm concerned, not worried. I'm concerned that our traders, our mothers and sisters who engage in tomatoes and onion trading, travel into Burkina Faso to the north, about 400 kilometers from Ouagadougou, which I wouldn't recommend, considering the fact that the Tiato market where they find themselves is closer to the headquarters of the terror group, and they have not taken personal security seriously, and they have no safety guidelines, and it is not known that anybody has done travel risks for them. And so these are the difficulties they find themselves in, and all of us collectively, I think these are the lessons we need to take forward. That to the extent that Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, or the Sahel region has become notorious for terror attacks, if you have traveled there, whether for holidays or for pressure or for business, you need to tick the 3 boxes. And the 3 boxes are personal security, safety guidelines, and the travel risk assessment outcomes. One of the things you can also do is to walk into our embassy and speak to them, irrespective of your status in life or society. And they will provide this guidance, the warning signs, where to go, where not to go, and how to go. And when your back is against the wall, which lines to call in quickly so that help could come your way. These are the things we overlook, and our mothers and sisters find themselves in this particular place at the wrong time.
Richard, would you say that as a country we've been lackadaisical with the way we've treated the security concerns of these tomato traders, knowing very well, like I mentioned, about 400 kilometers into the country and back, just to be able to bring us tomatoes?
These are individuals engaging in private businesses. if they have sought the help of the government, the embassy in Burkina Faso is the right place to get this help. If they have sought the help of their son, Richard Kumado, I would have even done it for them for free. Because we've done it for Ghanaians abroad and expatriates who come into this country who even want to travel within Ghana. How much more traveling to the Sahel region where the threat levels are very high? So they have a personal responsibility, and we have a collective responsibility to publicly engage in public education and awareness creation. Until that is done, personal security is a personal responsibility. What is also important to say here is that this is not the first time our mothers and our aunties are engaging the terrorists.
Right.
What got them off the first time was that by identification, they were identified as Ghanaians. Unfortunately, in this particular time, they find themselves at the market. They walk in, shooting everybody discriminately. They didn't have the luxury to ask who is a Ghanaian, who is not a Ghanaian, and they went for the men and left the women stranded. So this is exactly what happened, and I think we need to take care of the lessons. And whilst we bury the dead and treat the injured, the lessons are critical so that we do not repeat the same mistakes.
I stand to be corrected, but as of now, I don't know whether the other Ghanaians who are already in Burkina Faso waiting to come back to the country with their tomato trade and all that, or probably there are even some Ghanaians who are en route into the country already and all that. What exactly should we be doing as a country as we speak? Like now, what should our security?
Now, at the governmental level, they liaise with their counterparts at the Sahel region. We have a very good geopolitical relationship with them.
Right.
We have good cross-border intelligence sharing and security briefing with them. And so at governmental level, it is done. But at the individual level or at the business level, you need to take your travel risk seriously. You need to take your safety guidance seriously. And you need to take your personal security seriously. If you need help, you walk into the embassy. And that is the responsibility of the embassy, that they should provide help and guidance to all citizens, irrespective of whoever they are. If we ignore some of these basic things, and you find yourself at the wrong place at the wrong time, and you do not ask for help, we wouldn't know who is at where and who might be needing help. And that is why communication, irrespective of the language you use, is very key in these particular times, particularly if you trade in a very high intensity crime zone or security zone where treacherous elements and predacious characters move about almost every day. Anything can happen any day and any time.
On our borders as a country, are we doing okay?
What we have done over the years, people said we are lucky. Lucky is great, but our security agencies have done a yeoman's job. The counter-terrorism groups of this country, securities, have established intelligence guarding frontiers at all our borders. They have worked hard to ensure that public safety challenges are addressed, security assurances are provided within timelines, and national sovereignty guarantees are achieved within guided principles. Having said that, intelligence gathering is always there, and intelligence effectiveness obviously helps decision makers to take the right decisions for our country. But we can also say that security management is a continuous process, and we will need to keep our eyes on the ball.
What is the long-term consequence on Ghana's economy and security that we may end up, suffering as a result of this attack?
No, the major one will be movement of goods and services. The other one will be the price of the particular product they bring here.
Right.
And the third one will be our families who will mourn the dead. But other than that, cross-border crime is key. We are watching it closely. Terror attacks within the West Africa region is very high. We are watching it so closely. And we are doing everything within our power to ensure that our sovereignty guarantee is preserved, our security arrangements are put in the way that the structure is enhanced, and the determinations in the field will give us the best results.
All right, Richard, I want to let you go, but let me ask you one last question. How does the relationship between Ghana and Burkina Faso stand to suffer from this?
No, we wouldn't suffer at all. We have good relationship with them. We have geopolitical relationship with them. We even have an envoy to the Sahel region. We don't have a problem with them. They see President Mahama as their big brother. President Mahama also sees the three of them as the junior brother. He's even working so hard to bring them back into the ECOWAS fold. So this wouldn't create any problem at all. This is a personal security breach that went on. at a particular place we should not be sending anybody to. And you saw the speed of the response of the military of Burkina Faso. They did not even know there were Ghanaians there, but they went after the terrorists, took some of them out, and the rest ran away. This is the response we are talking about. Rapid response, take care of the public safety challenges, and make sure you bring stability. And irrespective of whatever it happens, that is the response we are looking for. And they did a good job under the circumstance.
All right, thank you so much. And Richard Kumado is a fraud and security consultant. He was with us on the phone. But I believe we still have Mutaru Mumuni Mukhtar, Executive Director for West Africa Center for Counter-Extremism on Zoom. Do we still have you there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Great. I believe you may have heard the conversation I just had with Richard Kumado and all that. Do you side with him?
Sure. I mean, I agree with him entirely when he talks about the relationship between Ghana and Burkina Faso.
Right.
Indeed, that kind of relationship is important to ensure that we are collectively addressing this threat. And it appears that at the moment, Ghana has one of the best relationships with Burkina Faso and the Alliance of Sahelian States. And Ghana appears even more committed just beyond that, because we're seeing the creation or the appointment of the special envoy to the Sahel. That demonstrates Ghana's commitment to dealing with the Sahelian states in addressing common or shared security challenges. And I think that that kind of relationship is important to working together to address the challenge. In the last 6 months, we have worked across 12 border communities in northern Ghana, and that includes the borders between Ghana and Burkina Faso. Working with border security agencies, immigration in particular, shows a strong relationship between our men here and the men on the other side. And there have been situations of very extraordinary collaboration in dealing with common security threats. And I think that we need to commend our men and women who are along the borders working to secure this nation against any kind of security threats. And I think that on the basis of that, we need to work together continuously to deal with this, because this is an evolving threat, and we need to be active, to be alert, and to be positive in our approach to dealing with it.
I'll let you go soon, but pardon me to ask you some other few questions. A quick one, just like I asked Richard Kumado, and I stand to be corrected again. I don't know whether there are still some women or men who are either en route from Burkina or en route entering Burkina with goods and all that. But if they are, how do we track these people to know that they are safe and haven't also encountered such menace?
We all have contacts, there are established contacts along the routes between people here and those in Burkina Faso. So, for example, when this attack happened, the Ghanaians who were involved as victims, there were people who immediately could tell, or they knew that they were Ghanaians involved because they belong to the same trade associations and transport unions here. And so those contacts are active communication or tracking individuals who apply these routes. And that is not, it's not far-fetched. It is easy to do so. What the challenge is, how these individuals make decisions before applying these routes. Are those decisions based on a security assessment for their safety and safety of individuals involved? Is it based on, just routine act of applying the routes for trade? And those are the real issues we need to be asking ourselves. It's very easy to say that we stop traders from going into Burkina Faso. But what does that mean for us in terms of the goods that are imported into this country? The essential goods, including the tomatoes, as well as onions, because we get the bulk of this from Burkina Faso. It brings in the question of food security for Ghana. We are acutely challenged when it comes to food security in this country. And it's about time that we started investing significantly and in a more sustainable way. It's inevitable to talk about issues of governance and development when you talk about issues of security. The Lego tomato factory would have been a big anchor, source of that, and would have prevented our traders from going into Burkina Faso to import tomatoes. Is it not about time that we focus more on that, ensuring that we employ innovative modern irrigation driven tools and systems to ensure that we sustain production of tomatoes here, to ensure the production of onions and other goods that we traditionally source from Burkina Faso. That is the only traditional and sustainable way to prevent or reduce dependency on space that is security prone in terms of risk.
Mukhtaru, my very last question, then I will let you go. I mean, what lessons should Ghana learn from this attack to help us improve on our counter-terrorism, response?
There are many lessons. We have the West Africa Center for Counter-Extremism. 11 years ago, we started highlighting the reality of violent extremism and terrorism in West Africa. And that was only a matter of time that all of us would be victims, directly or indirectly, from the onslaught of violent extremism in the region. And that we needed to go beyond just, talking about the threat, to put in up enough adequate measures to ensure that we do not get affected or we do not get to this state. It's been, so long, more than a decade of the insurgency in Burkina Faso. It's only to be expected that we will at some point or the other have, become victims of terrorist violence, either within our own soil or within those spaces. And that is a reality we have come to. We need to go beyond just, having workshops and conferences to engage in practical measures to addressing the challenge from a regional perspective and deepening interagency coordination and intelligence sharing, and also equipment and tools that allow us to ensure not just, prevention, but responding in a manner that is deterrent enough to prevent a future occurrence. And so the lessons are clear. Terrorism goes beyond borders. It is a regional threat, and it requires regional approach to dealing with the threat.
Right. Mukhtaru Mumuni Mukhtar, thank you so much for speaking to us. And after taking a lot of your time here this afternoon, but we are grateful for your contribution to such a tragedy. And he is Executive Director for West Africa Center for Counter-Extremism. We'll be speaking about the issue of an attack on some Ghanaians who were, en route after their tomato trade and how they've been attacked. And according to what BBC is reported as we speak on their website, it says 7 Ghanaians die after jihadists attack tomato traders for Burkina Faso, from Burkina Faso, I beg your pardon. That's what is being reported by the BBC. And we are told that, when these terrorists attacked them, they separated the women from the men, killed and bent the men, together with the truck that they were in. And some of the women are injured, severely injured, and all that. And so we will be following up on it and bringing you all the update. We are told that they've entered the town since 2019. And so probably, if anyone is watching this and they have but the big question is, when these women or when these tomato traders stop from going to Burkina Faso and bringing into Ghana tomato, what happens to us already? A very small plastic, baskets of tomato, as at yesterday, it's 300 Ghana cedis. Very small. So I'm just wondering what happened after this incident when these traders, pause from going to Burkina Faso and bringing in tomatoes. What is happening? And just a few weeks or months ago, we were complaining of food gluts, where a lot of the food, according to us, were going to waste. But here we are. Anyways, we're still here on Good Afternoon Ghana on DSTV channel 277. From one issue concerning food production to the other. When I come back, we'll be talking about cocoa production and how these farmers are either complaining or happy about new information from the Finance Ministry and the Cocoa Board. Stay with us here on the program. We'll be back.
Healthy soil is where every great harvest begins. At ACAP, we turn waste into wealth, producing rich organic compost made right here in Ghana for our farmers and our future. Whether you are planting small or big, ACAP compost improves your soil, boosts your yields, and saves you money. Even in your own home garden, give your soil life naturally. ACAP compost, from waste to wealth.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ampedu.
Good afternoon, Mr. Asare.
How is business doing?
My business is collapsing.
Why is your business collapsing?
I sold my products and services to my clients on credit, and my debtors are not paying their debts.
Have you heard of Rosic Consult Limited, a debt recovery company operating in all the 16 regions of Ghana?
Not at all.
Mr. Ampedu, all you need to do is to contact them on their customer service line. I recommend Rosic Consult Limited, a debt recovery company to financial institutions, businessmen and businesswomen, other companies, and also individuals. Rosic Consult has 98.4% debt recovery rate. We have professional debt recovery managers. You are assured of swift debt recovery. No recovery, no commission. For Rosic Consult Limited, no more write-offs. And we pre-finance the recovery ourselves.
Watching DSTV means getting the TV you love, but staying connected means getting something extra. Stunning. Extra matches, extra dramas, the best local and the world's biggest. Extra laughter, music, movies, and extra vim.
I love it.
Just stay connected or reconnect and get upgraded to the next higher package at no extra cost. Charlie, we got you. Keep watching. Get more with DSTV.
This is a chance of a lifetime. My opportunity. Your opportunity. Let's build Ghana together.
Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go.
Back, we're still here on Good Afternoon, Ghana. So from one tragedy where a number of Ghanaians have been attacked by terrorists in Tetao, Burkina Faso, and some, according to reports, losing their lives. Let's come back here in Ghana where cocoa farmers, I'm there to say some of them are not happy and others are happy, because there are also videos of some cocoa farmers who claim to be happy with the reduction of the price of a bag of cocoa, and this video is also in circulation. But before we even see that one, these are videos of a number of cocoa farmers who say that they are not happy that the government has reduced these prices. Take a listen.
Omampani mama media nyesre na mesre wona me ka kire wo se akuafo wa ha no wo ya me yaware agu wo ya me kwom so ayede ban akuyan wo ya ma wo mo afa no wo bia kokko no so agya kokko dua asekira ne se sikada da na wo ho no mo no wo ka se wo batum manabro so santi na manfo to ma wo akuafo onmanimfo ebegina se wo bu akuafo a to aba edodo a na yakwani mu pa adada nti wo si gas man so sika eje no akufo adofa gu ni botom woni ne mpanimfo wo ba ya de odba ma want me amfa amayen
ndc for adadafo John Mama ene ne nkrofo o me adadafo me yo hin na mtina America sai ma ye kokofo me konfi aduenu Me pese me ma John Mama ne nkofo nti asese. E kwan am de akuafo faso yes akwan na so am de faso. De na do abeya man no. Se omuntimi entoa so a omman si ho.
Medi fie de osonkono anura me kwa afuo mu ebo mi no nsie fie. Banku ball ba kokura me ntimi me gina we kom de me. Empanimfo ase se wanya bibia mo ase a yenya amo no kro no. Ade a mahama aye no eya. Minti bi mpani nsem da me de nka matwa wo nanso me mpesa me nana no beba abaye. Enti me yasra no me nsada me nsayem. Wonya bibi baye.
Mesra wo shoba abre wa me gina ho ma ba todwa ma me mowire nyina wu ekura yi amete ase ba bia me firi ekosa nsuo ansan manye bi anom manye bi ne me ma didi no papa se wo hwe ba bia me ekosa nsuo no a nka ba abre wa meye omobo hwe wire tu ya me damu gise no enekura kresi ni wo gise sola na matodi ato awiem ni manya kanea ene mema ene me nana no de ada wo da hwa na dwo a wo behwe na wo esimapie aye fa na baabre wa mefa yeti misran kakakra na a metimi de ato nchanse metimi de ato cement na me de aye baabi a metie ni yiye no na wo so wayi so baabre wa menye dan wo de yi wo de no na fa de wo hodada no fa mayen
ekuafo na ye adwuma ye calculation gro cost input no. The cost of maintaining 1 acre of cocoa farm was a cost rule, a pager in excess of about 2,000 cedis. So, and yet, what's your tium, Sikana, Omunya, every cocoa acre bakumono? A honor problem no, if you a by way at the Nadriaco gold sodo, or the BBA quaco good. Until when the year pa would take your phone to be now resting in a man as if government is prioritizing gold over cocoa to the extent that even the threats about destroying cocoa no for gold and crying said here buying.
And so there you have it, a number of persons, including Miracle Boaji, who is spokesperson for Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, during his campaign and all that, somewhere in the Ashanti region, together with some cocoa farmers who say that they are not happy with the reduction of the prices of the cocoa. But our study here is Isifu Isaka, who is national president, Ghana Cooperative Cocoa Farmers Association. Isifu Isaka, national president for Ghana Cooperative Cocoa Farmers Association. And we've been talking behind the scenes, and he tells me that on the 6th of February, a week before the announcement of the new prices and the new formation, they had a conversation with stakeholders which involved them, with which they were told that they should look out or watch out for such reforms. But then as to when it was going to happen, they were not told. He's here with me here this afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us. Thank you for the opportunity. So I was asking you behind the scenes whether there was a stakeholder consultation between yourself and government and probably the Cocoa Board. Was there anything like that?
We were invited to the Cocoa House. CEO of Ghana Cocoa Board, Dr. Randy Abbey, made some submission to us, and he mentioned of possible reduction. But as to the actuals, as to the date or the timing, we were not told. So we said we wanted to have gone and consult our farmers and then give feedback, not knowing government have to organize emergency cabinet meeting and then bring something out for us to hear that immediate or emergency price review committee meeting was held on Thursday, and they reached out in a conclusion that the cocoa should be reduced by 28%.
What exactly were you told on the 6th of February? What exactly were you told?
Yeah, so, you know, the challenge was there was no funds for LBCs to pay cocoa farmers when their cocoa beans are being bought. So we've written to stakeholders to understand. We even engaged the LICOBAC, which is the Lancers Buying Company Association, to understand the challenges. And through that, Cocoa Board heard our voice and were invited. So 2 things. The CEO assured us of availability of funds that is going to be released, and then the possible reduction. But we made a position that the government should have hold on until the season ends, so that if there is something the government can use to cushion the farmers, could have done that. But unfortunately, here we are today, the price of cocoa have been reduced.
So you requested for at least a hold up.
Yes.
So the end of the season before
Yes.
these new prices
Sure.
actually are given. Why did you request for that?
Because
Why that?
we realize that still the cost of production is still high. And if you look at some of the things that is happening today, you could see that farmers are not well positioned. So in order for the farmer to still be in business, you have to protect the farmer. So we were looking at this because as we speak now, even before the reduction, searching for labor is very difficult. The youth out there are not willing to enter into the cocoa farming activities, as well as even the women. So we thought that if government hold us into these sessions where the price could have been maintained, still we would have developed that large love for the cocoa cultivation.
I know these are very basic questions, but I'm just trying to also understand from a perspective as a cocoa farmer why you think this new price will affect you so bad. How long does it take for you to harvest the beans?
So in the year, there is a main season and then a light crop.
Right.
It depends on how you prepare your cocoa. If you have an irrigation, it is possible you can get yield throughout the year. But if you rely on this natural rainfall and some kind of natural occurrence, it means that you have to apply much effort in investing in your farm. So there is a light crop and a main crop. For example, if you want to use an 8-acre land, which is approximately 3 hectares, and the farm is around 10 years, all things being equal, you can get 45 bags of cocoa in such 8-acre farm.
Right. How many acres do you farm on? Do you have a farm?
8, yes.
You have how many
Yes.
acres?
8 acres.
8 acres.
Yes.
So approximately before from the day of you starting your pruning and all those things to the day that your cocoa is up and you're harvesting and all of that, how much money do you think you spend on this 8 acres?
So if you have
or probably
45
before this new amount of money has been given to you as the new pricing, how much money have you spent in that range?
Spent?
Yes.
You spend 30 to 35%. So 45 bars, if you multiply by 3,625, then you strike your 35% difference. You will see what you have been spending, roughly around 48,000 to 50,000.
So then with this new pricing, how much money are you losing?
We are losing thousands Ghana cedis, 1,033 Ghana cedis per bag.
Not necessarily the per bag, but from your conclusion, just give me how much
So
money.
you
Because your
multiply that by
investment and how
45.
much money you are losing.
So you multiply 1,033 by 45.
It's a lot of money.
Yes, 40 something thousand.
How do you intend to cope with such reduction? How do you intend to do as a farmer?
Yes, I would say that we are still in business, and we cannot say because of this reduction we are moving out of business.
Right.
But just that we also have to understand some of the cocoa value chain dynamics that happens, like the international pricing mechanism and the trading system, where prices are influenced. So to us, from where we sit as farmers, we are not happy, but we are also looking at to the international shocks. You get the point? This international, so where traders are influencing the price, determine the price for we the producers.
So that means you actually acknowledge that there's what we call international shock.
Yes, for every farmer or everybody who have been in this business, knowing the value chain dynamics will appreciate these shocks.
Right.
So from where I sit, I know that before the season, cocoa was trading around $8,000. And today, cocoa is trading around $3,600. A woefully decline of more than 70%. So if you are in my shoes, you will get to know that this is how the system have brought us far.
But then if you appreciate what is happening on the international market, the reduction, because I just saw a video just about 30 minutes before we came on air of farmers in Côte d'Ivoire who are complaining that due to the lower price on the market, their beans are getting rotten. because the purchase is low. So if you really acknowledge what is happening on the international market, why then are you aggrieved with a reduction in price?
I would say that if you compare Cote d'Ivoire to Ghana, Ghana is fortunate because as we speak today, I've also spoken to some of our friends out there. And you know, Cote d'Ivoire, they run semi-liberalized system or semi-centralized. So the government can propose a price too, but that is not what is happening on the reality market. Because the farmers trade direct with the traders and they base on demand and supply, you could see that they just give any price to the farmer. Yeah. So as I speak, some farmers are taking 1,500 Ghana cedis per bag. Some are taking 1,009, some are taking 2,000. So they don't have any uniform price. As to Ghana, you can't go below 2,597. For Cote d'Ivoire, depend on your demand and your supply at that level influences the price you take.
So it's more personal.
Yes.
On the retailing level, it's more personal.
Yes. And as I speak, they wish to smuggle the cocoa to Ghana as we speak at the moment. But
then that means as a cocoa farmer in Ghana, you are privileged. Because regardless of all of this international shocks, you are still at least very higher than the world's largest cocoa producer.
We wish that our lives will be improved more than what we are seeing.
Right.
And as I said, the cocoa production or the cocoa value chain is not determined by only the farmers. There are several factors that comes in to show how the prices should go, both at the domestic and international level. So from where I sit and what I see, I could say that the government could have done better by pushing us, the farmers, to maintain the 3,625. But with the understanding of the government too, they think that it will still bring a lot of debt into their books, and they think we should all manage this for this time. And I think with time we will catch up.
You keep saying that all cocoa farmers are not happy with the decrease in price, but that is almost like untrue. Because I mean, according to what I told you earlier, I've showed you a video of some cocoa farmers who are happy. We are going to play for viewers to also see that. Very soon they'll be ready. You can see them, a number of cocoa farmers who claim to be happy. You know
that when it happens like this, the politician comes in. So you saw a video, farmers are claiming they are not happy. And you are saying other farmers are claiming they are happy.
I mean, not just saying
I would say there's
a video to it.
This will be a political farmers, but a rare farmer who is a businessman farming the cocoa as a business will not be happy seeing that today, if I have one bag of cocoa, I'll be paid 3,625. And tomorrow, with the same bag, man, the amount is reduced by 1,033 cedis. No farmer will be happy. As we speak, maybe last month you were paid 3,000, and just this month you are told you are going to be paid 2,000. Will you be happy? You will not be happy, irrespective of whatever condition, whatever reason, you wouldn't be happy. But beyond that, we are still in business. So we have to appreciate the system and then move on and see and wish for better luck next time.
It looks like you, if I'm to deduce what you're telling me, it's like you believe with time you adjust to the new price.
And we are also hoping to see an international increment.
What if it doesn't happen? What happens?
If it doesn't happen, well, we are still in business. And we have cocoa farmers, for instance, particularly those who are only limited to cocoa farming. You can't just leave the cocoa sector and go and look for new jobs. So we will cope with it.
Have you met with some of your colleagues after the announcement was made?
Oh, we've met with several farmers. Just last Friday, we were at Central Region. We met some cooperative members. You could see that farmers were not happy, but they were considering two things. One, shortage of funds, and the reduction. So if we hope to inject funds in the system, where if the farmer takes his cocoa to the purchasing clerk and will be paid, that will reduce the pressure.
Right.
And then with time, we catch up with the price.
So that means these farmers are also buying into the idea that it's not government's doing, but rather it's from the international front, and government's also trying to cushion.
That appreciation is there, but we also believe that for systemic sake, government have not been prudent. All government, and this was the opportunity for us to come out with the truth and revamp Cocoa Board. Because everybody comes out and say, oh, Cocoa Board, mismanagement. So if they have taken us to this level, it means this is the right time we would have prepared ourselves well with Cocoa Board regulations and their actions.
But don't you think that's what they are doing? You just mentioned that you keep hearing people saying that Cocoa Board is there's rot in Cocoa Board, and there is stealing, there is corruption. Don't you think this reforms, as announced by the Finance Ministry together with the CEO, Ransford Abbey, is part of the ways to make sure that the Cocoa Board is working for the Ghanaian good?
We are yet to see the implementation. Until then, I wouldn't come out.
It has begun with a reduction in the prices.
You said?
It has begun with a reduction in the prices.
Oh, no. You know, for example, if you take the cocoa, how we trade the cocoa in Ghana.
Right.
Do you know that for the past 33 years, Ghana was based on syndication? And 2023, the contract that we signed and took loan from the bank, we were not able to fulfill this. And this is where we are today. Because from 2023, we signed a contract of 800,000 tons, and we were able to supply 470,000, leaving a deficit of 330,000. And now the traders are saying, we will not sign this forward sales contract again. So we have to have a new model. And we came out with a new system by approaching the traders to give us 60-40 pre-financing. And because they wanted their 330,000 tons, they agreed. And after they getting their 330 tons, they are now saying they are okay with the beans they are having. They are not going to buy extra beans because even their companies that buy the beans from them are saying they have that exceedingly, which is not true. You get the point? So to me, I think it is mismanagement on the part of some leaderships, which, if you want to say much, people draw you to the political conversation, which I don't want to go there.
We should go there because, I mean, one way or the other, you get affected. If, like you mentioned, if, like what you are claiming, that if it hadn't been the rots in the industry, probably you wouldn't be suffering like this.
Yes, so I don't see why you have experts. You pay them huge money. You give them good condition.
Which expert are you talking about?
Expert in Cocoa Board. You give them good condition. And they were not able to see that if they focus their weather condition, Ghana will not be able to produce 800,000 tons. And you went and signed 800,000 tons. And at the end of the year, you were able to supply 470,000 tons. What expert is that? So if you think with all this expertise and all this money that we have been paying, all this good condition that we have been providing, you can still put us into these losses, then leave the sector for the cocoa farmers to run it themselves. Because...
You believe you do better?
Oh, yes. Because even if we can hire people to do that. And they would do under our supervision or under our direction. For example, now, countries like Togo, Nigeria, Cameroon, they are not happy. But last year and last 2 years, they were very happy. They could build good houses from the cocoa sales they made because they do liberalize system of trade. In Togo, last year, if you have 1 bag of cocoa, you are getting 12,000 Ghana cedis in CD equivalent. You are in Cameroon, you are getting 12,000. And you are in Ghana, you are taking 3,001. We didn't benefit it. And today, because the price have gone down, we have compared to reduce our price again. It means in better times, we are not enjoying. In the bad time, to save. So what should we do as farmers again?
Have you heard what Dr. Peter Buama Otukono, who is Director for Presidential Initiative in Agriculture and Agribusiness, has said? He says, first time in the history, cocoa farmers like yourself are enjoying the free on-board price at 90%, as to what it used to be at 70%. You know, the FOB is not 90%. Are you not happy about that?
It's not about the percentage. It's about what is coming to the farmers. In as much as I believe that government is paying 90% of the FOB to farmers, we were expecting that government could have waited, paid us the 3,625. We know government would have made losses. For that losses would have been accountable. We, the farmers, would have appreciated that, oh, you made the losses because you were paying above the international price to the farmers. That's why these losses were made.
Right.
But so many years we have been saying we've been making losses, but we are not able to account for these losses that we have been making. This is a realistic loss. The international price is 3,600, and you are paying the farmer 5,040. Your haulage, your LBC's margin, and other operational costs have not been factored. This one, everybody will get to understand that this is a true losses. But even the time that you are supposed to declare profit, you still make losses.
So you believe that government is shortchanging you, if that's the right word?
If you use the word government, I would agree. Because for so many years, government comes in and go. And I think that government have not been prudent in dealing with farmers enough.
You think they don't take it serious?
Yes, that's what I feel.
That's your personal conviction?
Yes.
That's what you believe?
Yes.
So what do you intend to, as a cocoa farmer, what do you think, I mean, as a group, you can do to make government know that you are almost like the pillar of the economy?
Yes. So now, at first, we didn't have a body like the Ghana Cooperative Cocoa Farmers.
Right.
And looking at the existence of the Ghana Cooperative Cocoa Farmers, we are also doing our best to support the government.
What do you do? What do you do as a cooperative association?
Yeah, as we speak, we train the farmers. And most of these things is happening because of information or communication gap. My understanding in the cocoa sector is not that of other people are no down there. So whether reduction or an increment, people sometimes apply political settlement instead of understanding the reality. So if we're able to educate, train the farmers, let the farmers understand the reality in the value chain, so that the farmers are equipped with enough information, enough understanding, some of these things wouldn't be problem. Because from where I sit, I don't need NDC or MPP to come and tell me that the situation I am now, I should go by NDC West or MPP West. I can make a judgment on my own based on my understanding in the value chain. The exposure that I've gotten for the past 14 years. So if a lot of farmers also have the same exposure, I think that there will be a lot of transformation in the cocoa sector. And transparency too will be brought on board.
I mean, before the NDC came into power, I mean, the now finance minister, Kisla Tuforton, severally indicated that he believes the Ghanaian cocoa farmer deserves a bag pricing of 6,000 Ghana cedis. Did you ever hear that?
I heard him.
How does it make you feel? Or what goes through your mind? Listen to what he said then, and now the prices have been cut. I mean, this they say is part of reformation of the entire system.
Yes, so when you are outside the box, it gives you understanding different. But when you are within, working in the rare realm, it gives you different understanding. For me, I know that Kesa Atoforsen made that statement because he uses the international price by then and multiplied by the exchange rate by then.
Right.
And strike 70% out of that. But he forgot to know that Ghana have already made a forward sales of $2,700 per ton, which even if the price short-term effect. I know several farmers that today, they've already sold their farms. But
already?
They wish, yes, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, but today, they wish they were still in the cocoa business. Though things are not okay with us, but comparatively, you are selling your entire cocoa land. You are taking some huge sum of money. You can spend this money within 1 or 2 years, but the cocoa will give you money every year. My father, my mother have been in the cocoa sector. All my family, we are still in the. But we could see that yes, it has brought a lot of transformation in considerable terms into our lives. So I will not advise any farmer to say that because of the reduction, I want to sell my cocoa. Don't do that. If you do that, in the long term, you find yourself in difficulties.
Do you know of any farmer as we speak who is who has already cut down their farms from just a week ago because of this new pricing? Because I mean, I saw one video of someone who was cutting down a cocoa farm and saying that the video I saw,
was last year video.
So it's not current.
It's not a current. I haven't seen any farmer physically or practically with evidence that the farmer is cutting down his cocoa tree because of the reduction. I haven't seen that. But I think that farmers, as I said, in the larger scale, are not happy. But we not happy doesn't mean that we should go and damage our future. We have to correct the wrongs today and see to it in the future that we will benefit. And from where I sit, I believe that in the next 2 years, the price of cocoa will go up again.
All right. To all your followers watching, I wanted to ask you about what you're going to tell them. But before we do that, just so you know that I wasn't just saying that some farmers are claiming to be happy about it. I mean, the videos are ready now. So let's all take a look at it. You know, earlier we played you videos of a number of farmers who claim that they are not happy about it. I'm saying claim because we are having two different factions here. One party says I'm happy. The other says I'm not happy. So please take a look at this.
Yes, Papa, your mama. I said. Yes, Papa, your mama. I said. Yes, Papa, your mama. I said. Because Obayano, who said you be our year, you know, Japa, the sending Jeneva, never any pet, I'm a Kukuska Bassa. To where, say, O Judicial, what is over his cannot to my mind and what way they are. Yet they are peso. What is so? Now, Utuya Kuforeka, then what way, Tia Danasi.
Yamawa Quaba about Mopa, your mind. Nay, the area say, you cocoa. Say, Papa, say, Bonu, my who the echo. Kwasi mini sene petro aye 40 se enkunkunta da trogo so no obi atumi twabidie no na kokoo no so se betima ye saa na koyanum na be asomdua ba ye bo aba so ye nwuma papa mai na mini panso mra na kuafo ye nenye te nkoda so ye ntim makua no ye mfo ye hu hyem na asomdua mra ye da wase
yo em se men so me je kakra me peta me kan se ye nyina anyante ye se sa ban odi kokoo no hu duma se Obemes Canaba, Yena, and Yaji. By Adebacon, Medea, put to Jamaica, say, I might be a baby, all dress, all Faku, no yet among yourself. Because we say, Yaman, yourself, and fish and cow, and Cono. That is so that by Kukoyam, yourself, or this why, or this when you pay Benyas and Macantina. I can transfer Bedru Sabri. It is than I say, so what is a papa or better swab. It is a camay. I thought to be able to light and also. Yes, and I say, oh, one day now, family because Coco no. We have one young man, and also be, and also be, and also be.
Cocoa, as a big kind, I can say. I am say, go for a can home some say, a band pursue to do sense. But I know that's a nice advice with so young butchery because Minimsa ban betcha, one in the Pedigra court meeting. And then I am the say a buying.
Okay, so they have easy food. Yes. They are saying that they are happy because they know at least there's a reduction. There's a reduction. They'll be paid.
They didn't say that.
They didn't say that.
All of them, and I never saw any of them saying they were happy because of the reduction.
No, but
they were laying emphasis on the fans.
Said that
the availability of fans to buy cocoa.
Relax. The first person said that. Or what is the second of
if you will reduce the price for us to get money to buy. Exactly, it means that we are looking at availability.
But I don't know how happy that they are getting funds. But I don't know how happy they are going to get money. I don't know how happy they are going to get money finally.
And that is what they are saying. We have the beans, but we are not getting the LBC paying us.
But
And
they're happy that
saying
if we reduce it, they are going to get money.
If you will reduce it for us to get money, so the emphasis is on the money availability, not the reduction. You get the point?
But here the other man said that, who was in blue, he said if the previous government was able, they would have reduced it, but they couldn't because of political gains. You heard what he said? That's what he did.
Yes, so as I said, issue like this, cocoa is now more of political, and people want to gain political gains out of the cocoa conversation. But from where I sit as a farmer and leading over 500,000 cocoa farmers, I think that as a nation, there should be a collective effort where we can put the cocoa into the center stage and then ensure that at the end of the day, the nation benefits.
Our time is up. Thank you so much.
But before I leave
just
you,
5 seconds.
Just 5 seconds. I will plead with our farmers. They should exercise patience with this difficult time that we all admit. I believe that better time will come, and that time is very soon.
Thank you.
I'm great.
Isifu Isaka is national president for Ghana Cooperative Cocoa Farmers Association. Isifu Isaka, national president for Ghana Cooperative Cocoa Farmers Association, and he was here with me as we discussed issues concerning the new pricing and the new FOB and all that. According to him, I mean, Ghanaians should just exercise patience and retire if we get back to normal. Earlier, we had a conversation on Ghanaians who have been attacked by terrorists in Burkina Faso. We spoke to Richard Kumado, who is a fraud and security consultant, and also Mutaru Mumuni Mukhtar, executive director for West Africa Center for Counter-Extremism. And also, let me say a very big happy birthday to you, Franklin Kujo of Imani, Ghana. Today is your 50th birthday, we are told. So yes, happy birthday to you. Thank you so much for watching. Good afternoon, Ghana. I am Bright and Akwese. Have a good afternoon and bye.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.
Every Thursday morning, the spirit of the school come alive. From the marching bands to the dining halls, the fear and the panic stories, the convoys to old students' pride, to unforgettable homecoming moments. Metro TV brings you the School's Homecoming Show live. Relive the glory, celebrate the legacies, reconnect with the memories that shape legends like you. The celebrations, the anniversaries, the homecoming activities, and the legacy projects that you embark in your school. The Metro TV School's Homecoming Show comes to you every Thursday from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. live on Metro TV. This is the School's Homecoming Show live on Metro TV.
Our school is built on a hill. Beposo Samoto. We are always victorious, 'cause we work in God's way. Oh, Hebrew girls. Oh, Hebrew girls. Oh, every mighty eagles, we shall never lose our fame. Oh, every girls. Oh, every girls. Oh, every mighty eagles, we shall never lose our fame. Turning 80 this year. So we happen to have two legacy projects. One for the global community, that is everybody, all old girls, and then the other one for the 2001 year group, because they are the host of the 80th anniversary. And so the one for the global community, of course, I mean, you need to eat good food in a very clean environment. And then we realized that one of our oldest dining hall in the school, it's overcrowded. Of course, we have two dining halls. Last year we refurbished one, and this year we want to refurbish an ultra-modern kitchen as well. That's for the global community. And then with the 2001 year group, they are building a whole